in all our racist stuff now?
Yep, everyone's heard it. Racist stuff against white people.
I was gonna say against the British.
Oh yeah, the British especially. The ultimate white people, the ultimate evil. The villains of Game of Thrones.
The White Walkers.
The White Walkers. Oh shit.
Man, were they not as threatening as they appear.
Speaking of which, I don't want to turn this into last week's episode, which was just
Avengers.
I
did that. I feel like we did that intentionally because we're trying to capture that Avengers audience. It hasn't really worked out. I don't think. I haven't really looked at the numbers, but we'll see.
Oh well, I do want to complain about Game of Thrones real quick.
Hold on, before we get in Game of Thrones, let me just continue our Avengers conversation from last week. On the ride home, I realized there's a pretty good example of like the Russos' vision problems.
Yeah.
Look at Wakanda and Black Panther, which is like another movie that like Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok has its own like aesthetic and visual.
Kind of its own language.
Yeah, compared to the other movies for sure.
Yeah.
But look at Wakanda in Black Panther and then compare it to the way Wakanda looks in Endgame or Infinity War, and to a lesser extent Civil War, which isn't a fair comparison because I don't think they had designed Wakanda yet, but it's a pretty stark difference.
Well, in Infinity War, it's a field and like a building.
Yeah, right. But that's just get to my. I feel like that's a good illustration of like Wakanda looks like it's an interesting, unique kind of civilization in the Black Panther, and then it's just kind of bland in Avengers.
Well, like what if they actually have fought in Wakanda?
That's that was my thing. Infinity War.
Yeah, just some fields. Obviously, you help with the special effects and. Everything's got the same outdoor lighting, so you don't have to worry about that too much when rendering the characters and blah, 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 blah. I watched Wolf Cop last night. Practical effects need to make a comeback. I want to see a Hulk transformation that's done with practical effects. It's like werewolf transformations using practical effects are like some of the coolest shit that's done in movies. And Marvel's not ever going to do anything cool like that.
We got to wait for that. That next Incredible Hulk movie. Well, that's because they can't make an Incredible Hulk movie.
You'll never see a penis erupt into a wolf penis in a movie because they don't have the balls. Speaking of not having balls, that's my biggest problem with Game of Thrones. Obviously, I agree with a lot of sentiment on the internet. The writing's trash. They really dropped the ball on the White Walkers, or the others as they're called in the books. But honestly, I wasn't that disappointed because I haven't liked the TV show
like 3 seasons,
entire run.
Yeah,
and I think it's been especially bad since like season 4.
Basically, when they had to go off of the books, once George R.R. Martin's not involved heavily anymore, it becomes harder.
Well, the problem is I don't think he even knows how.
Well, yeah, he has broad points, and that's it.
So that's all he told them, and they're just like, well. We don't know how to write, so this is garbage.
Which should be obvious if
it's
you
TV
pay attention to
shows,
Jamie.
So, like, whatever, I didn't expect too much. But where I do disagree with the people on the internet is there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, they don't know how to write. They just did these things so that it would be cool and cinematic. And where I disagree is
that they're cool and cinematic.
That show is not fucking cinematic.
There's a couple. I feel like no. Then here's
have the budget of a film.
Okay. No, I'm like there's like every season there's like maybe like 1 or 2 shots. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, even so, everyone's complaining about the shot from this episode at the beginning where the Dothraki charge in.
Yeah.
And you see their lights going out. Well, just like I'm saying, they don't have any balls. So if they really wanted to achieve that shot, they would have moved the camera in closer, and it would have been a single shot. They don't need 40 fucking cuts to the reactions of main characters in between that shot. It should be one single shot.
Yeah, that's the audience experience.
That would be cinematic. But no, it's a fucking TV show, so here's so many fucking cuts to just character reactions, so many cuts to just random shit. All the action is just a random cut to like one gore effect they did. It's garbage. And then after that scene too, where there's people retreating from that fight and they're emerging out of the darkness, that could have been a cool shot too. But guess what? It's got like 30 cuts in it. Why? Why is there 30 cuts? Because here's why. Because the person they have directing the episode doesn't know how to fucking direct, doesn't have any balls. He's like, you know what? A camera that's going to stay stationary for 30 seconds for one shot? No, man. We need cuts. We need action. People are just going to get bored.
Cuts and action. And boredom. You're describing Children of Men to me right now.
Oh, so I rewatched the episode because I was like, it couldn't have been that bad, right?
No, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
So for episode starts and there is like a cool long tracking shot that
Mm-hmm.
follows Sam and then passes to Tyrion, and like there's cool choreography in it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like maybe it's not as bad as I thought. But then immediately I was like, oh no, yeah, here's where all the garbage cuts are because it's fucking. I don't know, Born Ultimatum or Mission Impossible movies. And shit. I mean, just so many cuts. So many cuts. And to me, that's lazy, like no balls filmmaking. Like you just don't have any faith in what you're doing. So we just got to do these extremely short.
Slam them all together.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I do think they have great costume work. When they use practical effects, they have good people working on that. Good set design. All sorts of that shit. So they have lots of good people working on the show. And then the people in the leadership positions, the people steering the ship, directors, writers, producers, fucking nothing. Garbage. Absolute shit. Like, I'm Miguel Sapacek, that fans of the show love, who directed this episode, and Battle of the Bastards, which is also a terrible sin. Like, it's like Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings, and then since then no one's ever been able to do a battle scene again. This guy like is not
even
director.
Peter Jackson in the Hobbit movies.
I'm convinced that this guy, just like any other job on the planet, it's about kissing the right asses and being like chill to work with and following orders from higher ups. That's the only reason he gets to direct these episodes, because he has no fucking vision or balls.
You're really going for him.
I'm like,
You're really. I mean, I can't argue with you. I basically agree with everything you're saying. It's.
I don't know. Yeah, of course they didn't. Also, aside from the books being different from the show or whatever, they didn't seem to actually pay off any of the own narrative threads that they created themselves.
Yeah.
And so I agree with all that. But saying they did it just to have cinematic moments, that's wrong too. They did it so they could have like hashtags and memes about the shocking subject. What's that cliche term from Last Jedi? The subverted your expectations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it subverted my expectations. They didn't though. It was kind of exactly what I thought it would be.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. They didn't subvert my. I guess they did subvert my expectations, and then I thought there would be. I thought it would be better.
Well, I did. So the thing is, it's about on par with what I expected.
Well, yeah. I don't know. The show has been all downhill since the Red Wedding.
Also, I was like, it's the last season. Maybe they'll
pull something out.
Like, not pull anything out, but at least know how to resolve the narrative threads that they created.
Pull something out. I thought they would pull something out.
Yeah, but no, they couldn't do it. And here's the thing too: is they clearly can't manage all the characters they put in this one location, just because.
Yeah,
there's so many shots of them, of like Jamie and Brienne and people just being swarmed by whites, and then cut away from them, and I don't know what's going on. John's riding the dragon or some shit. So you're not able to
track the action.
All the characters you put in this position. No, most of those characters don't need to be there.
Man, I guess I think my guess is that George R. R. Martin says that he's had some plan for all these characters to coalesce at Winterfell, and that's what they're going off of. But
yeah, it's just garbage. They're not able to balance all those characters. So here's the thing: Barrick's dead. He's not. He doesn't need to be there in the books. I mean,
Yeah.
So they could easily done that as well. Barrick Dondarrion doesn't need to be at that fight. The Hound. I don't care about you nerds on the internet who think Clegane Bull's a real thing. I think the Hound is gonna stay the gravedigger on that island, and he's the allusions to him being the Hound are just Easter eggs for people that are reading the books. He's not going to come back and save the day. That's the whole point, is the Hound's dead and he's found peace. That's the end of his arc. So the Hound doesn't need to be there. Melisandre, she just rolls in out of nowhere. Where in the last episode they showed the White Walkers and the Whites were lining up anyways. She came from the same direction. She walked by him.
I don't understand her in the show, and I fucking can't stand her in the book. Here's my biggest thing, and to me, shows how far they've come. How far divergent they are character-wise from the books is like everybody that watched the show love fucking Stannis, and I can't stand that motherfucker from the books. I hope he falls off a fucking cliff.
I don't think he's very good in the show either, though.
Yeah, but people loved him.
Stannis the Manus. Well, there's people that are book readers too that love him because they think he's got some secret plan to save Winterfell, which might. if the books are ever written, maybe it'll happen. But it doesn't seem likely that's gonna happen either. So
yeah, Stannis is worthless.
yeah. Here's the thing. It's a dumb TV show. I'm obviously a contrarian, so I don't like it.
Have you seen Endgame yet?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was alright. It was like, I think Infinity War is better.
Yeah, I mean, I said that. I think I said it after we stopped recording that.
Yeah.
Endgame, you definitely cannot appreciate unless you've watched several of the other movies and appreciate those movies.
Yeah. So like I was saying, since I don't have the same emotional attachment to the characters that a lot of people have for some reason.
Which is weird, because you've known these characters a lot longer than some of these people have been watching Marvel movies for 10 years.
Yeah, but the characters in these movies, to me, that's the big thing, is a lot of them they don't represent the same thing to me.
Huh.
Which is, I don't know, so I have this weird detachment from them, because I don't think that they are very human, the entire Marvel universe, I guess, which is weird. But, yeah, so, like, a lot of the emotional payoffs and shit that happened, and I was just like, okay. Like, all right, so I do get it. After watching it, though, I was really like, ooh, they might have made a misstep. I don't know if they're gonna be able to. People are still gonna go see the Marvel movies and shit for sure. They're not ever gonna get to this high again. I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it's possible.
Right? It feels like there's some finality to this movie.
So,
we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe they can. Who knows? Kevin Feige's like a weird, crazy person, so. Maybe somehow he'll make the Eternals cool.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Your real hope is for Fantastic Four and X-Men. Yeah, and like all hope lies in Doom.
Yeah, they need to start working on that. And he's like, "Oh, we didn't really plan for it, so well, guess what, man? I hope you didn't plan for making any money for a couple years." Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't that impressed. Same thing with Game of Thrones and Endgame. Those episodes being the same weekend or whatever. There seemed to be this air on the internet, and in retrospect, from a lot of people, like, "Oh, this is a big like cultural moment."
I think that's certainly true of Endgame, and I think you're being very cynical if you don't see that. But
well, I'm gonna be pretty cynical about it because, like we talked about last week, the week before, there's the Society of the Spectacle.
Yeah.
And I do think people constantly want to be a part of things now, part of events.
Right.
But they're wholly manufactured. Like, this isn't like Jaws coming out and through word of mouth and, you know what I mean? This is just a corporate, like...
I guess. I don't know. I would argue that the Endgame is the word of mouth and it's just building off of Infinity Wars.
They had a decade to...
Yeah, I don't think that's Phil. I don't think that's fair. I think you're being a little cynical here. Because Justice League and DC Comics, they would try to do the exact same thing, and they didn't do it, right?
Well, I mean,
and like Avatar 2 is going to try to build off of Avatar being the biggest movie in the world, and I don't.
Are they making the Avatar movies or what?
I think they've already filmed Avatar 2 and 3, and it's just post production right now.
James Cameron, you asshole.
Yeah, like I don't get. If someone's gonna get mad at me for this, but I don't. And it's not like it's not like an uncommon opinion now. But like I don't get the Avatar movie.
I don't care about it. I think that's what
I liked Ferngully better with Tone Loc. Is all I'm saying.
Tone Loc.
No, I'm sorry. You're right.
That just reminded me of.
Remember when he was in to talk about Save the Cat? He was in Blank Check, which is the Save the Cat fucking movie.
Like his best friend Butler, his Alfred, if you will.
No, that's the fat dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he Tone Loc was the one of the henchmen for the bad guy.
That's true. He's Ferngully. He's got the best song in Ferngully.
He does.
That cool gecko. He's like, if I want to eat somebody, I will. It's like, hell yeah, man. Do what thou will.
Robin Williams is a bat.
There's Aleister Crowley was that gecko. Yeah, I guess I might just be too much of a contrarian or something, or for some reason I have this weird detachment that I don't.
Are you depressed?
I mean, I'm always like vaguely depressed. I'm always like bouncing on a knife edge, I feel like. But yeah, like when these big cultural moments, like people post on Twitter like, oh man, I don't know if I can handle Endgame and Game of Thrones.
I don't get that.
Episode 8 or season 8, episode 3 in the same weekend. Oh, it's like, but you're fucking desperate to be a part of something. Like, I'm the one that's
this is
detached from society. Like, you're just fucking reaching out for anything, like a life preserver or something. Do you not have like an inner life at all?
No. Well, I mean, we talked about this too, but like, there's a part of like society, American society, and I think probably world society.
World society.
Yeah,
it's just a big conglomeration.
Right.
Same attention,
It's kind of like
behavior.
to the point where we don't have some of the traditional attachments that we used to have, right? And so people are looking for like brand loyalty, and shit like that. I remember that shit I showed you on Twitter with that Steakums tweeted out. It's basically that.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing though is if you call it out, it's like you're just being a dick. It's like, well, no, I actually think it's dangerous behavior.
I don't know if it's
To a certain extent, yeah, you can enjoy the Marvel movies and comic books. And
yeah, that's different. But
brand loyalty, I absolutely think is dangerous for society.
yeah, I think,
And the fact
I would say I don't know. I mean, brand loyalty. I don't know if it's dangerous in itself for society. I just think that it's a symptom of something that's dangerous for society.
Yes, that could be. Yeah, it's a symptom of a larger problem we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, I know this is a comedy podcast where we talk about 80s movies.
Yeah, I have loyalty to the 80s, even though I was barely alive for it. I was thinking Dan Aykroyd's character in this movie reminds me of Ronald Reagan.
It does.
Yeah,
That's kind of, it's the 80, it's the end of the 80s
politician,
right?
And I was like, you know what? I was barely alive when Reagan was president. I just know all this from punk rock from the 80s, how bad Reagan was. I mean, also history.
What are you talking
Doing
about?
the reading.
I think Sunshine right out of Ronald Reagan's ass.
That'll probably be the last time I complain about Marvel movies.
You're not gonna have an
To be
opportunity
honest.
for a while.
Yeah, like so. I'm just kind of done. Like I said in the last episode, after watching Endgame, it was kind of cathartic for me. Maybe I put too much stock into movies, which is why I have like such extreme opinions about movies all the time. But like,
Yeah, they're not books, Kyle.
well, books and movies I have extreme opinions about. But those are like my two favorite things in the world, so they do mean a lot to me. And then after watching it, like I was like, well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really. It still didn't feel anything like most of the Marvel movies. But I was like, well, at least it's over. So like that's fine. I don't need to talk about it anymore. And then Game of Thrones. I know there's like 3 episodes left. 4.
Yeah, 3.
3. I feel like that was the end of it. Like I don't need to talk about that again. Cause now they gotta kill Wine Mom and Cheap Pirate. Like, what? How is that gonna be the?
Man, Euron in the show is just not good.
How is that gonna be the climax of their fucking show?
I don't know.
She's got the Golden Company and they don't even have any elephants.
Wait, the book, Golden Company in the book is the one that has the fake Aegon Targaryen,
Yeah,
right?
well, we don't know he's fake yet, but
Yeah, he's a fake Aegon Targaryen.
all right, you think he's Fagon?
Fagon, yeah.
Fagon? I think he's a Blackfire.
That would still make him a Fagon.
Well, he might be Aegon Blackfire. He's not a Targaryen. Well,
People that watch the show are like, who the
Blackfire's
fuck is Blackfire?
yeah, they don't know any of this shit. Well, show-only suck though. Like for real, I'm gonna be that elitist prick that's like, you like garbage. Like it's like like when people complain about the show, the bad writing, it's like you're just angry because what you expected to happen didn't happen. Arya's the best. I don't care that Arya killed the Night King. I just
Like, the Arya's the best in the books,
they just
too.
need to make it earned. Yeah, she's one of the best characters in the book too. I don't give a fuck. It's you guys just like they're shoveling you garbage, and you're like, oh yes, I love this garbage because it has the right brand logo on it. So fuck you, Shonleys. Don't ever talk to me. If you see me out in the streets and you want to talk about Game of Thrones, I'm gonna pull your card and see if you read the books. And it's like gang loyalty out
I'm
there.
gonna ask you all about Tormund's nicknames and nom de
Yeah,
plumes.
tall talker. Yeah, gang. Alright, that's enough complaining. Let's talk about Great Outdoors, a great film.
We're gonna complain about that. Another victim of nostalgia, really.
You think so?
I think
I
here's
think,
my thing.
The pacing's off.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not a child. but-
About 20 minutes. I watched it with the kids. And about 20 minutes into the movie, and Ryan looks at me and goes, "Oh, so this is like the vacation movies, right?"
Oh shit! Damn it!
So, and that was
Lots of babes.
a real revelation for me.
Yeah, that just blew my mind right now. Damn, kids spend too much time on the internet. Too smart. Ah, damn. Well, it is John Hughes.
Yeah, I mean, really, if this was vacation, this would have been after Christmas Vacation or before.
It is 88, so...
Yeah, it would have been after Christmas Vacation. So this is would have been the fourth Christmas or vacation movie. And if you just kind of write it like that, I actually think Chevy Chase would be the Dan Aykroyd character.
Yeah.
And then someone else, they wouldn't have Cousin Eddie, it would have to be somebody else.
Well, John Candy.
Yeah, they still have John Candy in it as the other cousin, right? Or as it's the other sister.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
John Candy in it. John Candy's good. Yeah, no, watching it as an adult now, that's my big takeaway from it is like,
Oh, that's a John Hughes move.
John Candy was good.
He is good.
He was like, he was a good actor, which I forgot about because I haven't watched a John Candy movie in years at this point.
Oh, I mean, the kids and I watch Home Alone every Christmas, so I see him in that.
Yeah.
He's got a bit part in it, right? But
He's got that the funniest scene in the movie, according to our dad.
where he's talking about leaving his kid at the funeral home.
But he's really good in this movie. Dan Aykroyd's good too, but since I feel like I watch Dan Aykroyd in films more often than
John Candy.
Yeah, so I'm already aware that Dan Aykroyd's good. Also, I fucking love Dan Aykroyd in real life. He's crazy.
Yeah, his UFO shit.
Mm-hmm. He loves fucking the blues, dancing, and Crystal
Aliens.
Skull vodka, which I've had before. It tastes like vodka.
Nothing.
I mean, vaguely like rubbing alcohol. I don't really like vodka.
Yeah, that's gross. Yeah, if anybody wants to watch a John Candy movie that has aged beautifully, I think I said this on the podcast before, but
Uncle Buck,
Canadian Bacon is fantastic.
That's like towards the end of his life.
Yeah, it's like 96.
I was gonna say the end of his career, but the end of his life. Yeah. The last movie he did was that one with Matthew Perry, right? That bombed, where they're like Lewis and Clark, kind of.
That's Chris Farley, you son of a bitch.
What? No, there's one with John Candy that's really similar, right?
Is there?
Oh, it's not Matthew Perry that's in his one, though.
Oh, okay. Because the Matthew Perry one is definitely Chris Farley.
Yeah, but there is his last movie is real like frontier comedy bullshit that nobody liked. I think.
I don't remember that one.
Man,
you might be right.
I feel like it's Chris Farley and John Candy both had like that
same movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm just racist against fat white guys. Which, I mean, honestly, like if I look deep down inside myself, I am racist against fat white guys. That usually means they're landowners. And I hate those guys. If you own property, you suck. Calling you out, Chapo Trap House. Well, I guess I'm gonna complain about one more thing.
No, correct.
So Felix Biderman from Chapo Trap House.
I don't know the last names, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's the one with the lispy voice. I was listening to Chapo Trap House because my political views do align with theirs somewhat. I just think they're kind of bourgeois. Like I'm more on the streets.
I'm right down here in the pits.
Yeah, I'm out here in the real shit. Like I'm a paycheck away from dying in the streets, and you guys are just fucking
around on the internet with your dad's money.
Yeah, getting like fucking $100,000 a month and shit. So yeah, that's where no, there's no brand loyalty with me. But this nerd was talking about. So he made I thought a pretty good joke about Joe Biden, how he was going bald in his '88 presidential election, and then he just showed up with full head of hair and like just daring people to like say anything about it, you know? Which is, And then he's like, that'd be like if Beto disappeared after the selection and came back and looked like Boy West Coast, which is that meme rapper from the internet.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's a pretty good joke, whatever. But then to really out himself as just a goofy white boy from upstate New York, son of a landowner, he's like, yeah, he'd be like, he'd come back and have like an East Bay Mexican accent.
What the fuck is an East Bay Mexican accent?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, motherfucker. So Boy West Coast from Santa Barbara, Southern California, totally different. And then East Bay Mexican motherfucker. Felix has never been to East Bay unless he's gone to like some hipster gentrification party in East Oakland, or he was stalking some girl at UC Berkeley. So when he said that shit, I was like, I'm kind of done with these nerds because he just sounded like the biggest fucking internet nerd of all time. And then it's fucking, I don't know, man, he just fucking wedo. The East Bay Mexican accent. Okay, buddy.
Hey, we talked. I don't know if we talked about this off air or on air or not. And at this point, I guess it doesn't matter. But when did the Golden State Warriors start playing in the city?
The city.
Because I grew up in the in the Bay Area, I went to Warriors games when like Chris Gatling and David Woods were starting.
What, Chris Mullin?
Well, yeah. This is after Run TMC.
Was that? Yeah, that was Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullins, and then Mitch Richmond.
Yeah. He
Um,
had Latrell Sprewell though.
Yeah.
My favorite basketball player of all time.
I'll choke you right now.
I don't care what anyone says. Latrell Sprewell is the best. I fucking loved him as a kid.
But they play in Oakland.
Not for long.
Yeah, well, I know now they're gonna be in the because they're winning
got money
now.
now.
So they're come on over to San Francisco.
Oh yeah, man. There's human shit and tourist money everywhere. I don't really like the city. Last time I went there a couple years ago, I was just like, not really my vibe.
I haven't been back to San Francisco in like 10 years. Oh, longer than that probably.
I just don't feel the need to go to the city.
The city.
The city. Like,
When did it start being called the city too?
I remember people calling that when we were younger. Like, but it's like it's weird for it to be on the national scale. People calling it the city.
Yeah, well, when you live in the
area, it's we're going to the city,
right?
Because you say that relative to you living in the outskirts of a city and there being a city. So yeah, it's weird for it to be like a brand now. The city. Now I'm going out to the cuts. It's pretty cutty out here.
It's like when people call it Frisco.
Yeah, what the fuck? That shit's weird. Or Cali. That's like, oh yeah, from Cali. Oh,
No, you're not.
You're from like fucking Bakersfield or something. Or NorCal. I never really like that either.
I'm going back to Cali.
It's a big, you can say it. He's alright.
No, you can't.
At least we know he spent time there. Tupac's from the Bay, so.
Fucking Mad Max music video.
Yeah. Fucking California Love is the best music video of all time.
It's great.
It's like probably one of the best hip hop songs of all time, too, in my opinion.
California.
That's
No
like,
house party.
That and Regulate. Really
Oh, I like Regulate
like
too.
two favorite summertime jams as a kid. They remind me of like 1995. Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
Do you want to talk about how Chapo Trap House apparently has never met a black person?
I guarantee they know a few black people. Household staff, if you will. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually know that much about them.
I don't know either.
Sure, but they just definitely come across as sort of out of touch, speculative politics nerds on the internet.
Yeah, they're the even more left Pod Save America.
Yeah. Pod Save America just seem like straight up like Poindexter kind of nerds, like I'm reading a real good book about.
Well, I mean, the Chapo Trap House does the same fucking thing.
I do like that one episode I sent you where they reviewed Ben Shapiro's book was pretty funny.
Yeah,
well, that's just because Ben Shapiro is like such an easy target.
Everybody's dunking on Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, even people on his own side.
It's not that hard. He's only 5'1".
Sorry, it's not his own side. He's not alt right.
Yeah, okay.
He's,
you retract that right now. He'll be very angry and he might even shed a tear. Right. I'll say it. He is all right.
He's also not the height of an average man
or woman.
Yeah, he's smaller than the average woman probably. I'm one of those guys now. If you're not over 6 feet, you can't talk to me unless you're a child.
If you're over 6 feet and a child, then I would like to recruit you for a basketball team.
Let me see your shot. Can you hit free throws? All right, great outdoors. Speaking of tall guys, Dan Aykroyd and John Candy are pretty tall.
Yeah, they're big men. John Candy especially. Big all over.
I forgot about the cool part at the end where it's just Dan Aykroyd dancing all over the place.
Well, I feel like that was a scene in the movie when they're at the restaurant and they got cut. Yeah.
Well, that would make sense. I like that they just threw it in the end.
Yeah. That's it. Well, you mentioned pacing. I feel like this movie, there's some shit that had to be cut because it just doesn't flow right.
Well, it's also just like, all right, here's a gag, here's a gag, here's a gag.
Yeah, it's kind of what we talked about in Police
Academy.
Academy.
That are just like, here's a little gag. Like when they go fishing and they wake up with the leeches on them. The scene's only like 2 minutes long, but it's just like that little gag. It's like they inserted like a SNL sketch, you know? And like
Dan Aykroyd had a great idea.
And
he had a real burner.
The punchline just fizzles out like an SNL sketch too. That's the one thing Donald Trump's always right about is Saturday Night Live is not funny.
No, I mean, I feel like, again, it's a weekly sketch comedy show. Like they have like one or two sketches a week that make me laugh.
Usually the ones that get cut, like the Kyle Mooney stuff.
Or it's the shit at the end that are like where they're just being weird.
Yeah, I support other Kyles. Kyle Mooney, I think, has some of the best sketches that have ever not aired on Saturday Night Live. His characters are good. The movie he made is really good too. Everyone check it out.
What's it called?
I forgot what the title is.
Well, then there you go. You're a dumb shit.
Brigsby Bear. There you go. It's got fucking Luke Skywalker in it and shit.
Mark Hamill?
Yeah, Mark Hamill's in it. Kyle Mooney's character gets kidnapped as a child and is raised by Mark Hamill and his wife in a crazy bunker. It's a comedy, so you'll love it.
I love everything Mark Hamill's in. Even The Last Jedi.
I don't think The Last Jedi is that bad.
I feel like I do have slightly different complaints about The Last Jedi than other people. Like, I really like the Luke and Ben and Rey stuff. It's just like the B and C plots I'm not that interested in.
Oh yeah, it's just not interesting.
Like, I'm already on board, and like I feel like the whole Admiral Hodor.
Holdo?
Yeah, no, Hodor. And Poe shit is like really heavy-handed.
Yeah, I like Laura Dern though. Everyone hated her because she had purple hair and they thought she was feminist or something.
I have like some complicated feelings about Laura Dern right around that time period because like I was she's from Jurassic Park, which I love her in Jurassic Park. But then my wife and I, Coops and I just started. I said my wife and I, you know who she is.
Yes, I've met her a few times.
We just started watching that show Big Little Lies.
Oh, she in that?
And she's in it, and she plays like the mean mom in it. And like the first episode, I'm like, fuck you, Laura Dern.
That's funny. No, I like Laura Dern.
I do like Laura Dern.
She looked cool with purple hair too.
But I guess my whole thing with the Laura Dern character is like, I feel like it works better if we had already been introduced to her in like The Force Awakens, and she's just not some new character that shows up out of nowhere. Because if she is, then she is just an obstacle for Poe, our hero, to overcome.
She's a prop.
Yeah, but then like they tried to like turn it around, like, oh no, she had a plan the entire time, but that's not what the audience has been conditioned to expect. Like, if she had a plan, she should have talked to the crew because that's what that's how rebels are different than the Empire.
Leadership is kind of. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, she's just used as a prop for Poe's really boring and nothing happens storyline. Oh, speaking of props, I guess we'll have to talk about Endgame one more time because I do want to go back on what I said about Captain Marvel last week when I was just super positive pro Captain Marvel. I still don't have a problem with Brie Larson, except for I did see she had an Ayn Rand quote on one of her Instagram photos, so I might have a problem with her depending on what the implications of that quote. That said...
Well, how do you feel about... I was looking at Ronda Rousey last week because I'm like, man, she really is American? Apparently, she's a Sandy Hook truther?
Oh, I don't know that much about her in personal life. She does seem to be a crazy person, so...
Yeah, if that's true, fuck her. Like,
Yeah, but, so tentatively, I still don't have a problem with Brie Larson.
Although Ayn Rand that's a questionable quote.
I guarantee I don't have a problem with what she said about white dudes being critics. Like I said, don't give a fuck. Don't have a problem with her being a woman. Don't have a problem with Captain Marvel being as powerful, slower, and doing whatever. But... I didn't see the Captain Marvel movie because it looked really boring, and it probably wasn't like boring, but it's one of the Marvel movies that who really cares sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Endgame, she's just kind of used like a prop and is still not. They don't really do anything.
That's what I said. Remember?
Yeah, and so like I don't know, Captain Marvel's got a cool design. She's do something with her.
Yeah. It's the last Captain America Iron Man movie, so they can't give Captain Marvel too much showtime. I just feel like they could have done like one or two scenes where she's interacting with the characters.
Well, she's just
there.
She just shows up, and then she's like, "Well, my people need me. I must return to my home planet."
And you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, it's really like the Simpsons reference.
Mm-hmm.
Poochie is really just like
he's really Poochie.
Yeah, and Poochie died. Travels through space. Yeah, she just shows up and it's like Southern Captain Marvel. All right, well, I gotta go to space now. Bye. All right, cool. Yeah, so that was dumb. But I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that Ayn Rand quote. If she starts some weird libertarian shit,
I'm out.
Done.
I'm out hard.
But you can do whatever you want, Brie Larson, but you can't be talking about Ayn Rand and the Fountainhead and Anthem and shit like that.
Anthem is her least offensive book.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's the least offensive. It's super anticlimactic, though.
It's true.
All of her books are just bad. Even if it wasn't for, like, her political beliefs.
They're not great books.
That good. And even though she's all about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and no one can help you, she died in poverty.
Someone's going to argue with you because, she paid into it her life and she deserves it or some shit. But then,
oh, you don't like society, and yet you participate in society. Shit. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Who cares? She's a hypocrite.
just like Dan Aykroyd's character in The Great Outdoors.
Yeah, he's just got self-esteem issues, right? You know, the real deep self-esteem issues that just continue to pop up throughout your entire life, even as an adult. So he's got something to prove. Like, he's trying to... The whole movie, it's him...
Trying to grift people.
Yeah, when he's, like, lording over John Canning's character, Chet. But you know he's really actually intimidated by Chet, and Chet's actually a better man. You know, he, like... He sees real quality in Chet, and he's like, damn, I'll never be a real human being.
I mean, they basically yell it at you, because there's the scene where he's in the bathroom talking about his kids.
Yeah, and then also... Before, when he went to, like, he
overhears Chet talking to his son.
He overhears Chet talking to his son about the scary story, you know, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Story, and then he tries to go replicate it, and he just tells an even scarier story.
That's one of the best scenes in the movie. My uncle used to tell a yarn about a bunch of escaped mental patients from the army, and just keep them in a box.
So, that's, with, like, most John Hughes movies, there is something there. Like, we can talk about the psychology of the characters, so at least that's, like, written well.
Yeah.
But there's also the other hallmarks of a John Hughes movie, like, there's the romantic B-plot with this one son.
That goes nowhere and does nothing?
Yeah, and it's, man, they're moving so fast.
Yeah.
It's like the next night they're having a romantic boat ride.
He's only there for a week, right? And she doesn't want to have a boyfriend. And the next night, but he's her boyfriend.
Yeah, like, well,
then they're broken up. And then
I'm your girlfriend. It's like, oh, fucking what? You just met. And then the line before that, he's like, I've dated some girls, but I wouldn't call them my girlfriend, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, that happens sometimes, right? You know, you go on a few dates, you know, from school, that sort of thing. But he's like, well, what did you call me? It's like, I don't know, a girl I just met, like, last night. But he's like, oh, my girlfriend. It's like, you don't even know her. Like, she could be a fucking Sandy Hook truther. Whatever the 80s equivalent was. She loved Margaret Thatcher. She didn't think the Dead Kennedys were the best band of all time. She actually looks like she'd be a Dead Kennedys fan, though.
She doesn't like Jell-O, though.
Yeah, so we got the great John Hughes.
I'm going to replace you someday.
Yeah, but have you considered that when they shoot the hair off of the bear's butt, it's really funny? The bear scenes were my favorite part of the movie as a kid.
Yeah,
and
still my favorite part.
Still my favorite part of the movie. Because I don't know, bears are really cool. I like bears, but it's just funny when they.
I mean, there's like 4 or 5 scenes. There's the scene in the dump with the bears, the black bears.
Yeah, I just like the bald bear. Like, they really shaved its head. And they didn't shave its butt, though. You can tell that's like a
prosthetic butt.
Yeah, they put on it. But I do like the close-up when it gets shot off. Like, that's a cool effect. It's like, brr. And then the bear's
little butt.
The bear makes. Like, yeah, that bear's so hurt. Shot in the butt. It's so juvenile, but like, yeah, that shit's hilarious to me. Also, the bears are cool. I just like bears. Cool to see bears. Like when you go to the zoo and they always look like they're posing, they're flexing.
Last time I went to the zoo, the bears just sat there and slept. So,
I went to the one that's just like you're walking around in the hills and they have animals in cages.
The Phoenix Zoo or the World? Oh, the Africa.
Like up in the hills.
Yeah, okay.
And they have a big ass black bear there, and like everyone was just crowded around him, and he was just like, yeah, he was sitting there flexing, like doing moves. It straight up looks like he's posing. Like, that actually reminds me. One time, my friend texted me a picture of like a ginger wolf, you know, and it's like, look, there's wolves like you. And I was like, haha, yeah, right, I'd be a bear. Didn't think about it. Immediately went to Google image search, and I was like, ginger bear.
No, don't do it.
And I saw, and just like the wolf that looked like me, I saw a lot of dudes that looked like me. Except for, I guess I'd be a cub now, because like the
you're not fat enough.
Yeah, they're like, not all of them are fat, but they're like jacked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not big enough to be a bear. I just have to be a cub.
Oh, you're pretty big.
I'm pretty broad, but they're like, they got like Jim the Anvil Neidhart bodies.
Beer belly.
And just giant shoulders. I don't know, but yeah, so it's cool that I might be someone's fetish, though.
Everybody is somebody's fetish.
That's true.
Except Ben Shapiro.
And Dan Aykroyd. I don't see Dan Aykroyd being a
Someone is into Dan Aykroyd. Like, I really want older fat men who are really into UFOs.
One time, I got off work and
You saw old fat man into UFOs.
no, I was just like chilling. I had some like friends coming over. My roommate and his girlfriend were there, and like I just randomly put on the Dan Aykroyd UFO documentary that was on Netflix. But it's not really a documentary. It's like
It's him smoking and drinking and rambling about UFOs.
Yeah. But so that was on in the background, and for some reason we all were like, oh, I was like, oh, I got no, I gotta know what it is. All at this point, I need to know.
What's it called?
All right, it's salvia.
Salvia.
Salvia. So
It's not DMT, that's for sure.
No, DMT is like legit. Salvia is just an experimental research drug, I guess. But anyways, well, no, I guess it comes from a plant, but most drugs do. So yeah, I had some salvia, and like, oh, my friend's girlfriend's like, oh, I've never done it before, and blah blah blah.
She saw the
we
devil.
did it. She's the last one to go. I don't know if anyone's ever done salvia before, but like after your trip, it sucks. In my opinion, you're just like all sweaty and like uncomfortable, and it's weird.
I think it's just, I don't think anybody should ever do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever actually had like fun doing it.
Like I've never done it, but everybody I've talked to has never enjoyed it, so I have no desire.
Yeah, but so my friend's girlfriend does it, and she's just like, she looks like mesmerized. It's kind of like almost out of body or disassociative, and then she just focuses on the TV, and she's like, "Dan Aykroyd, you fucking suck," and gets up and runs off to like my roommate's room. And she's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
What did Dan Aykroyd do to her?
And so like she said, her trip was just like his head like floating out of the TV and getting right in her face and just like, yelling at her about like aliens and stuff like that, and like she just hated it.
Dan Aykroyd, you fucking suck.
Dan Aykroyd, you fucking suck. So yeah, that's I'll always remember that about Dan Aykroyd.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah, he was talking big black deltas. All right, so they got these big black deltas in the sky. These big planes, the fake planes that the U.S. Army uses to fight aliens, and the government wants to keep them secret. Big black deltas. Buy my vodka. Apparently, he's been that level of conspiracy theorist sort of guy most of his life, because the original screenplay for Ghostbusters.
I was going to talk about that.
A lot of
crazy shit in it.
A lot of spooky stuff.
And the reason that Ghostbusters is filmed the way it is, and the way it's written the way it is because they couldn't afford to do all the crazy shit Dan Aykroyd wanted to do.
Also, I think probably Ivan Reitman.
He's like, nah.
Also, Harold Ramis, like...
yeah, Harold Ramis was the co-writer.
He cleaned it up, so I would assume. He's like, yeah, I don't know if we need to do interdimensional travel to kill reptilian politicians.
Yeah. I don't know if you need to fall in love with a space ghost there, Dan Aykroyd.
All right, but could we at least have a ghost blowjob scene? You got it. You betcha, buddy.
That's it.
So this has been another episode where we haven't talked about the movie too much, but...
we're going to talk about it right now in Rocket Raccoon's first appearance.
Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, this is probably where they got the inspiration for how to make Rocket Raccoon like sassy.
Did you stay for the after credits stinger with the raccoons?
Oh no, I didn't. What do they do in that one?
They're just talking about the bear. I forget what they call it. She has a name, like Clarabelle or some shit. They're like, "What's wrong with Clarabelle?" It's like, "Oh, she got shot in the ass. She's bald on both ends now."
She did get shot in the ass. That I feel like the tempo, the vibe of the movie really changes in that last act.
Yeah, well, basically as soon as they get back to the cabin and the storm starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which they so I guess that happens in real life where like you're just so tired of someone you're around that it just kind of all pops off.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they were going for. I just don't think they portrayed it well in the movie.
Yeah, because leading up to it, it's almost as if like Chet and Roman are developing somewhat of camaraderie. You know, they're not at each other's throats nonstop.
Right.
It's like kind of calmed down a bit. And then obviously the sisters have been getting along fine until that point.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like, fuck you. I guess it happens in families sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely seen it. We've seen it. But I guess, again, they didn't do a very good job of like putting the scenes in that show that. They have the one scene where with the water ski where, you know, Chet's pissed off at Roman afterwards. Can we talk, like, another movie with just poor water craftsmanship
Yeah,
Why the fuck are you
starting on the dock?
Yeah, who water skis off the dock? Don't water ski when there's that many other boats and people around.
Man, it wasn't a very big lake though.
Yeah, it's the Great Lakes. There's plenty of room.
Oh,
They just need to go somewhere else.
well, I mean, they didn't. They filmed it in Northern California.
Yeah, I mean, it's not actually
And
the
when
Great
they
Lakes, but
show
it's
the
supposed
lake,
to be,
it's
right?
like just it's a little lake. And then when they're at the launch off with all the docks and people like launching their boats, that just looks like a little tributary to a small little lake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there doesn't seem to be enough space to go water skiing, to be honest.
Yeah, and that boat it's not big enough for the amount of people they have.
It's ridiculous. That boat is stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I hate those fucking
Why would
boats.
anyone ever have that boat?
You've seen them.
Yeah, but like,
We used to wake you up at 6 o'clock in the morning when we went to the lake.
Yeah, but like, what did those guys do with them? They just like made noise and then got drunk, right?
Yeah, they just went really fast and annoyed everybody.
That's dumb. Yeah, they're always the guys too where there's no wake in the first like mile.
Uh-huh.
They were going over 5 miles an hour. I saw wakes. I'll call the police on them. Or I guess probably like park rangers. I wouldn't though. I'm not a snitch.
I would.
What? You're turning into a jerk in your old age?
Yes.
Speaking of old age, John Candy, he didn't make it to it. Yeah, so my favorite thing in the movie is John Candy.
Big bear chase me.
Damn, I forgot like John Candy was good.
I don't know. I mean, like he's just good in everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's John Candy, man.
John Candy. Oh, this is the debut performance of Annette Bening.
What?
Perpetually cool Annette Bening. She's one of my favorite actresses of the 80s and 90s. I guess even now into the modern times, she's had a few.
She's had a few cool movies.
Mm-hmm.
Cool movies.
Yeah, 20th Century Women. It came out a couple years ago. That was a cool movie. It had her and Greta Gerwig in it.
What?
That's right. Yeah, so I like Annette Bening. She's perpetually cool. I always like her because she's just like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. And in this movie, she's like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Kids don't really do very much.
They fall in love.
The two little girls are just props for the end of the movie. Really.
They don't say anything until the end of the movie, and then they are suddenly talkative, like, "Oh, we love you, Uncle Chat."
Mm-hmm. And then the little brother doesn't need to be in the movie.
Oh, that's hurtful. He's playing with a 6-shot transformer in one scene.
But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have anything going on around him.
He's a little bit of a wise ass to try to
just
appreciate.
in the scenes. Blow it out your ass. Man, this movie's still funny though. I still like it.
It's a funny movie.
It's just like, yeah, it's not paced very well.
Yeah, it could I don't know, disappointing a little bit.
Yeah, so John Hughes wrote this one, didn't direct it. It's directed by
he doesn't direct everything he writes.
Jim Deutsch, who also did Pretty in Pink and.
If I had to guess,
Kind
this
of
is
Wonderful.
probably one of his worst reviewed movies of the 80s.
Yeah, I don't think it did very well review wise and also box office wise.
Oh.
So I don't think it's not one of his big hits. He also did plan on directing this at one point, but it didn't work with his schedule.
Oh, he's too busy with Weird Science.
Yeah, it would have been around the same time. Huh?
Was it? I was just joking about that.
This is 86, this is 88.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what he would have been doing in 88. It was the tail end of his
tail end of his highlight of his career,
he
right?
fucking ran the 80s, to be honest. Like, if you go and look at, like, his credits for writing and directing, it's like, oh,
He was
the
crazy.
80s was just John Hughes, huh?
Vacation, Ferris Bueller's... Oh, this is probably on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
It might be. I don't really like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, I like it, but I don't know. I think it's overpraised.
Yeah, John Hughes really did fucking run the 80s, though. I like the reference that Game of Thrones did to the Breakfast Club where they're all down in the crypts. That was pretty cool.
I was waiting for Tyrion to letter to the Night King.
He was gonna like, look at this.
Each of us is a scheming princess, a handmaiden.
Tyrion would be like, look at that. Looks like a cigar burn, doesn't it? My dad Tywin gave it to me. Tyrion is just like a little John Bender.
Yeah, he's the closest I can think of to Bender.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sansa is the Molly Ringwald character. I can't remember the actual.
Of course.
Fuck, what's the handmaiden's name?
Handmaiden? You mean Sam's wifey?
No, Danny's handmaiden.
Oh, Missandei?
Missandei, thank you. Ugh, she is the weirdo character.
Oh yeah, she does have weird ass. Drag Queen's best.
Vars is the nerd, the Michael Varys. Yeah, I'm sorry.
As they call him in the show.
Yeah.
I always thought his name would be Varys, so Vars. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Varys. That's also Brienne. I believe it's Brian.
I always thought Jamie was Jaime.
It's spelled exactly like my friend's name. Yeah, that is just Jaime. Oh, here comes Jaime Lannister. Yeah, that's good. One big change I like from the books to the show is that Miss Sandy is not like a 12-year-old girl, and is in fact a very beautiful woman who shows her butt.
Well, Dany isn't like a 16-year-old girl in the show either.
Arya is 14 though, and you saw her naked.
No, she's not 14 anymore. It's been years.
You creeps.
I didn't like it.
You goddamn creep.
I'm glad that they did that. Like it had like the show that she grew up. I just didn't need to see any of it.
I don't care. Whatever. She's a grown ass woman. She's comfortable with it, then that's fine.
I'm not talking about her comfort level. My comfort level.
Well, your comfort level doesn't matter.
I don't really like her.
She's an actor.
Oh, go in Game of Thrones, huh?
Well, real classic stuff.
I did like her Doctor Who stuff.
She's in Doctor Who?
She had a pretty big role in Doctor Who a couple seasons ago.
Oh. Yeah, I can see big things in her future.
She's going to be richer than us.
Yeah. That's true. She seems like a cool girl. You know?
Yeah, I don't fucking give me one big role and then I'll skate on that the rest of my life.
Hell yeah, man! Give me in a Marvel movie, I'll skate that shit. 3 movies out.
Oh,
you'll never see me again.
Give me yeah, any Marvel movie really.
Yeah. Also,
Star Trek, Star Wars, anything I can do a convention circuit on.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd do that. I have my job right now with the amount of people I have to interact with is so exhausting.
Yeah, but your job is more than just interacting with people. If my job is only interacting with people, I'd be okay with that.
My job is mostly interacting with my coworkers, and I hate it. So if I had to do a job where I had to interact with people that like things that I don't like, and they like them a lot, I don't know how much I'd like it.
You just have to be yourself, and the people think you're funny. Like Edward James Olmos.
Edward James Olmos. No, because all the dudes, the people that you always see at the fan conventions that everyone posts their picture of on Reddit that you paid for, and a million other people have the same exact picture of, you're posting it on Reddit. That's a separate point, but it's always, those people are always like, oh yeah, I love The Walking Dead, and I love being on The Walking Dead, and I love the fans, and blah blah blah. Well, I sit there and be like, yeah, fucking Marvel sucks. I appreciate that they put
I don't think you're gonna be in their movie at this point. I think I've secured the role.
I appreciate that they gave me the role of Human Torch, but it's fucking garbage.
You're too big for the Human Torch.
I lose weight real quick.
You look so weird showing the opposite the thing.
Fucking yeah, right. Chris Evans has super narrow waist and big ass shoulders like I do.
You're bigger than Chris Evans.
Well, yeah, he's only 5'10" or something.
Yeah. And also, your shoulders are bigger than Chris Evans too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you just secured my role as the Incredible Hercules.
The first openly gay character in the MCU.
Oh, what? Openly gay?
Yeah, Hercules loves.
No, they had a guy in Endgames that was.
Who?
I think Hercules is bisexual.
Well, I mean the mythological figure. Is, I think the comic Hercules just only likes dudes.
Now, because he used to like ladies.
Yeah, I think it's relatively recent.
Anyways, I'm okay with that. I'll do it.
You probably kiss another handsome dude.
It'll probably be Thor.
Yeah, that'd be alright.
But yeah, you don't remember the gay character in the beginning of Endgame?
No, who's that?
And Cap's therapy group. The guy he talks to was played by one of the Russo brothers. That was the Endgame gay character that everybody supposed to go crazy about.
Why?
I don't know. It was supposed to be a big deal, I guess.
He didn't do anything.
Disney made a big deal about it, I think. Or the Russos did. Not like a big deal, but you know what I mean? More than they clearly should have because it wasn't a big deal.
Yep. Okay.
You could have at least made Thor bisexual.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to write the allusion to the Hercules and Thor getting together.
Well, Loki's changes sex a lot. They could just do that. That would be a nice way to...
Lampshade.
No, if they did that, you know how many fucking weirdos on the internet, neckbeard fools would be so pissed. Yeah,
it would make it great.
They're referencing specific mythology and be like, oh, I don't care, they're doing it, they're pushing their SJW agenda with their fucking history. You know, the Democrats were just too PC, so I had to change all my beliefs.
That's really what the problem is.
Yeah. And
I have to destroy the economy and the world and civil society because the Democrats are just too PC.
yeah. So,
I can't say retard anymore, or the N-word.
So that's it. The world must be destroyed. Fascism rules. You can't call me a Nazi. That's a slur.
I'm gonna become a Nazi.
How dare you call me a Nazi? I'm a Nazi.
So the great outdoors.
So the great outdoors, featuring no Nazis. I think that's one good thing about Dan Aykroyd as a conspiracy theorist. A lot of them do just fall over into anti-Semitism. Dan Aykroyd seems to avoid the anti-Semitic parts of conspiracy theory, which is pretty good. I appreciate that about him.
Good looking out, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. Let's talk about
the old 96er.
The old 96ers. So that'd be like 6 pounds, right?
Yes, 16 pounds,
16
ounces in a pound.
Yeah, it'd be 6 pounds. Do you think you eat 6 pounds of any kind of food?
I ate that. We went to Hard Attack Grill. Were you there, right? With Richie Rich?
Yeah, that's forever ago.
I ate the quadruple bypass burger, which is 2 pounds of meat, and then we went and got milkshakes. Remember?
Yeah. 2 pounds is a lot different from 6 pounds. I feel like I can...
Well, also, I mean, the 2 pounds is just the meat. So there's also bacon. I think there's bacon on it, and there's tomatoes and bread and shit. I don't know how much. It was probably 3 pounds in total, and then a milkshake. Give me some credit.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like I could probably eat 2 pounds any given night. I could eat 2 pounds of food. You know what I mean? But 6 pounds seems like that'd be a lot. That'd be quite an undertaking, especially if just a big ass piece of steak.
Especially when he gets down and it's just the fat and gristle.
He's
not done. That chef was a dick.
He's tall as fuck though.
I don't know if he actually was. It was just clever camera work.
Well, I mean, they try to make him look like he's just this huge, probably Norwegian American. That's usually who lives in the Great Lakes, anyways, right? It's like German,
Minnesota, hey, oh.
Yeah, and you know those guys. People with names like Gunderson. Gunderson. Yes, I guess I could do it for sure. I just probably.
I don't know if I could do it anymore. I can't eat as much as I used to.
It wouldn't be fun. I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. John Candy didn't enjoy it in this either.
Not a bit.
There's a couple like shitty Chekhov guns in this movie.
Well, like the literal shotgun lamp?
Yeah, shotgun lamp, right?
Before, when he comes down, it saves the day, he plugs the lamp.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about it, bro. He plugs it in before it will fire.
That shit's funny. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but I love it. That guy also has some of the best, like, under his breath dialogue.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
get the fire
who wouldn't want to stay blah here? And he's like,
the shits
well,
and
water,
all
give you
that.
the shits.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, this is my dog. He hates humans.
He's got a porky dog. He's got porcupine quills in his nose.
Those porcupines hates humans. Too bad he's in heat too, or she's in heat too.
Too bad you're not a female dog.
You're not a dog. Talking to the little boy. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, what are some of the other guns that don't go off?
Well, I mean, there's the guy that gets hit by lightning like six times.
Oh, yeah.
There's the bear itself. There's the story at the beginning, right? So those are my three. I don't know if there's any other. And that was mine.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's like just good writing. Like John Hughes seems kind of slapdash in some of his writing, but he at least like knows. All right, I got to do some of these things.
Yeah, I feel like he also should have alluded to like the old '96er at some point when they first got there.
Nah, I think that's just like a gag.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a little gag.
I would have liked it, But
well, let's talk about the real meat of this movie, the romantic subplot.
I feel like if you cut just that part together, it's about 5 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. It could just be condensed into a music video.
That's the thing too. Like, cut that part from the story. Either this movie needs to be about 20 minutes longer, or they need to cut that completely.
Well, I mean, don't cut that part completely because, as I talked about before, this girl in the movie is like one of the icons of my sexuality. And
we're gonna talk about that goddamn poem again.
No, everyone listen to Nick Cave, read everything he's ever written, watch the movies he's written. He's just the best. But it was weird watching it now though, because she's definitely way younger in this film.
Oh, you don't? You think?
I was like, these weird feelings are happening now. Obviously, the actress in real life, much older than me, But I was just like, wow, my brain. So,
I had one of those feelings too because there was a movie we used to watch when we were kids. What fucking was it? And there's a girl that I used to have a little crush on as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And like this little girl, she's not like a little girl. She's like 16 or 17 in the movie, and then just feels so weird. She's way older than me, like 10 years older than me.
But
still,
you've just seen her, the memory of her encapsulated.
Right.
Now it's kind of weird. So that's strange. But if you had a problem with Maisie Williams being naked on Game of Thrones, that's your own problem. I don't care if you remember when she was a little 8-year-old.
I mean, that's really what the thing is. It's like watching someone grow up. It's like she's like a family friend. I don't want to see that naked.
Yeah, she's kind of like a completely different character and human being in the show, though. You know what I mean? I have like a weird. I feel like there's a major detachment from whatever Arya was early on compared to now.
Oh,
this is just some weird zombie killing machine. Like she doesn't seem to have like actual emotions, or you know what I mean?
Well, now you're talking about Bran.
Bran.
That's the other thing too. Like in the books, I don't get this.
I love when he's talking to Theon.
He's like, "I'll go now."
No, I love imagining the writers' room where they're like, "Hey, let's have like a touching, poignant moment with Theon right here." And then they get all dialogue out like, "Oh, it led you to being here, home." And it's like, "Oh, that's sweet." And it's like, "Oh, what will we do next?" It's like, "I don't have any ideas, so have Bran just work some birds, and we can end that scene." And we can get back to the dragons flying in bad CG effects.
I feel like that has to be more. He has to be doing something that we'll find out later on. Otherwise, it's pointless. But it's such shitting writing. We'll see.
I'll bet you $10 that it doesn't pay off to anything.
The other thing I thought of too is like
they just thought it would be a cool transition. I seriously think it is.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
The other thing too is they could have had him when he warged, had him do something in the actual fight that like swung things their way.
Also, I really hate that.
But he's like, "Oh, I've got to go now. I'm gonna go see about a man on a dragon."
Yeah, I also hate the other interaction where he's like, "Theon, you're a good man, thank you," and then Theon slow motion charges to his death.
Yeah, that again. The other thing too is like that should have been like what caused Theon or Arya's opening to get the Night King, right?
Yeah, I think what actually should have happened and would have fit totally in line with the character of Theon. And his redemption is, he can run up to the Night King could stab him. Guess what? It takes you hours to bleed to death from a stomach wound. I think it would be cool if Theon just kept fighting him, even though he's just getting more and more hurt.
Right.
Because he's gone through all this torture already, and he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do what's right anyway."
And that what gives Arya the opening to give the Night King. And the other thing too, let's talk about Ghost for a second, because John's like...
the absolutely fucking post-production after effect they put in.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, Ghost could be here."
Yeah, well, I guess Ghost could be here with the Dothraki, the charge, right?
Yeah.
John's gonna send his fucking best friend off to die.
He doesn't even know that wolf.
Ghost should have been with Bran and Theon, right?
Yeah, why not?
That's the only thing that makes sense. You guys don't know how to fucking write. Like,
No.
I need to have a conversation with you.
They just don't. They haven't cared for.
But yeah, that's it. They don't care.
Well, yeah,
and they don't care, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know how to write. There you go.
Yeah, it's just funny. And then I love the 9-minute.
John Hughes is 10 times the writer. These guys.
Actually, I could only imagine John Hughes writing Game of Thrones. There'd be like so much like.
The dialogue would be amazing.
So much romance. Sansa and Theon, I ship it. That'd be weird though, because it's like his little sister. Oh, I love. Everyone really loves that 9-minute music video at the end of the episode, where there's no dialogue and it's just a really emotionally manipulative score that's making you feel something.
It didn't work for me.
All these bland events are taking place, and then you notice as soon as the score ends, you just feel empty inside. It's because everything you felt was from that score. It's a really cheap tactic that they do in bad films and TV shows, and you fell for it.
They do it in good films and TV shows too.
Yeah, but usually what you're seeing is interesting and something. You fell for it. It was all just that score. And there was a lot of people commending the score, and it did.
Yeah, that's one thing. The music's always really good.
It manipulated
Game of
the hell
Thrones.
out of you, for sure. Yeah, it did it. And then everything else that happened, garbage.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw people. We're talking about Game of Thrones and Endgame way more than we're talking about Great Outdoors.
Great Outdoors also, you probably just watch it because it is just gags and stuff.
Well, yeah, we talked about this before. It's hard for us to talk about a comedy movie.
I actually was thinking we might not do too many straight comedy movies at this point because my notes for it are like a paragraph because I didn't know what to write down except for jokes that I liked, which is we could just spout one-liners at each other, but I'm not hanging out with people trying to get their MBAs at ASU right now, so I don't hear that shit.
Is that what people are trying to get their MBAs at ASU?
You know, like those real, like fucking, you know, the types that all they do is quote like Reservoir Dogs and these real broad, like touchstone, fucking goofball asshole movies. You know, in Fight Club.
Oh shit! That reminds me. Have you ever looked at like the Pirate Bay, like the top like 100 movies?
No, what are they, bad?
Like Fight Club is still on there, which tells me all I need to know about internet culture.
Fight Club, very well directed by David Fincher. Acted very well. Not particularly mind-blowing.
You don't like Chuck Palahniuk?
I like Chuck Palahniuk, but Fight Club's one of his weaker books, and also a lot of the stuff that's in the book that makes it
doesn't make it into the movies.
Doesn't make it into the movie, and a lot of people also just completely misinterpreted the message of the movie.
Oh, you don't say?
Yeah, it was like, oh, it's all about masculinity. Nope. No, it's kind of like a treatise on toxic masculinity. Whatever, it's cool, right?
Well, I just want to go in a basement and punch a dude.
I mean, I have
my shirt
like
off.
that too, but I mean, you're not supposed
Ben
to.
Shapiro didn't accept my invitation for a debate boxing match, so.
Yeah, I want to fight Ben Shapiro, but like, we're doing it, like, we're gonna have a dicks out.
Turkish oil wrestling!
Yeah, the oldest sport in the world.
Yeah, oldest competition in the world.
Yeah.
I think I looked it up. I think it's like I think it is technically the oldest continuous competition.
Like the rules haven't changed.
Yeah,
stuff. That makes sense. Yeah. So Great Outdoors, Dan.
And again, there's just people are going to debate about it, but
yeah,
you know.
People debate about everything.
But not
was Hitler right? Was the Holocaust a good thing?
Did it actually happen?
Were the numbers just fudged? I mean,
well, they only killed 9 million people.
The Nazis, well known for not taking great notes about anything they did. So.
You know those Germans, they're not meticulous record keepers.
Why would we have records of all that? Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, just check out Great Outdoors. It is a really good childhood memory movie. We got that summertime sadness. But not sadness, Lana Del Rey. Talking about summertime, good time movies. Obviously, shit was filmed in the fall, though, up in the mountains, because everyone's dressed, like, in sweaters and jackets.
It's cold out.
Flannels. Yeah, and then the storm scenes, you tell how cold it is outside. Oh, and when the two kids are on the boat, hooking up, becoming basically engaged to each other, their noses are so red, I bet that scene was cold as fuck. Like, yeah, you're my girlfriend, let's cuddle.
Well, I mean that scene on where they're fishing in the morning is clearly mat work, and they're like in the studio, on the boat. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's better than having to get up for like a 3 a.m. casting call. I bet.
Yeah, probably.
I'd be like, yeah, I'll do that.
What movie are we watching next?
I hadn't really thought of anything. My plan was we were gonna watch The Burbs next, but I feel like
another comedy doesn't quite work. Yeah,
where we can't really talk about the flaws in the.
We can talk about the flaws of The Burb. There are none.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, all right, this happens and it's funny. Check it out. Yeah, there's something about like comedies, or like especially the comedies that really work.
Yeah, Airplane was like, how do you talk about Airplane? Yeah. It's really good. You guys should see it.
Yeah, check it out. I don't want to ruin any of the jokes, so can't talk about it. Have a good time. Yeah, so I don't really.
Bloodsport.
Oh yeah, Bloodsport. Kumate.
Kumate. Kumate. Kumate.
That would be good. I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat lately, which was originally going to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme video game.
Oh, crazy. But I mean, Mortal Kombat is basically they just made Bloodsport and Big Trouble in Little China into a video game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so John Carpenter copied Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Just, he went back in time, so it didn't look like he copied him.
He used Professor Hulk's time platform.
Oh, yeah, and the time travel shit is just nonsense. All it did is just... So anytime there's a conflict in the future, they'll just time travel it away, right? They still have the ability to do that.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, right? Yeah. Well, but so There's been a couple interviews I've read after the movie, one from the Russos and the one from Marcus and McFeely, the writers of the movie.
Yeah.
And they clearly they did not talk to each other because they described the time traveled differently each time. And as I said, they did not do a good job explaining the movie. Do you agree?
Well, here's my thing. I thought
it's multidimensional. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
well,
multidimensional.
There's people that have brought that up against people. Some people have pointed out all the plot holes and problems it creates.
It's not really a plot hole, but
well, all the problems and continuity and stuff it creates. And then people are like, well, look, they explained it. And I thought you were gonna argue like, well, no, they explained it. I was gonna be like, well, if they had to explain it afterwards in interviews and shit, then they failed when they wrote it.
yeah, oh no, they absolutely failed when they wrote it.
I agree with you. Like, no, I don't care if they explain it afterwards or anything. They fucked up right.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is like the directors and the writers kind of give two separate explanations after the fact. But here's what it is. It's multi-dimensions. When they're going back in time, they're going to a separate dimension. It's basically what the Ancient One said. Like, if you take the time stone from here, it's going to fuck up my reality.
Yeah.
And so Captain America doesn't go back in time and
into his own reality.
he goes back in time into a different reality.
But then he ends up back in that same reality.
Well, I think he goes past that point and then jumps back to his own reality, right? That's the only thing that makes sense.
I don't know.
That's what I think happens. Because I don't believe like Captain America goes through time and lets all this crazy shit happen.
Well, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't make sense for his character.
Right.
I think they might have wrote it that way. Yeah. So,
well, you remember we were talking about Chris Evans? We were like, oh, he's going to direct some shit now. And like, oh, wait, he's going to do Disney Plus shit? Mm-hmm. They have that Bucky and Falcon TV show. I guarantee you he's going to direct that.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll probably end up hearing it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be. I don't know what they're going to do with that show. It really is just going to have to be them shooting people. So, Disney Plus, I guess they're going to have mature shows on there.
Well, one of them's just Loki fucking around, right?
Yeah, that's dumb, too. Like, he steals the Space Stone. He's like, alright, see you guys on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's the worst. We'll see, though, if it's, like, a crazy show and he's, like, trying to seduce Thor by turning into, like, a hot woman. And
that'd be weird as fuck.
Crazy Loki stuff, I'll be into it. Obviously, that's not what's gonna happen, because Marvel doesn't have any balls. I guess that's my big problem with everything these days.
Nobody's got any balls.
Yeah,
not like Bloodsport.
Yeah, I don't mean like they need to be offensive and push those limits and stuff. I'm not dumb enough to
just take risks, is what you're saying.
Yeah, experiment a little bit, try something. But then again, Game of Thrones tried to experiment a little bit in this last episode.
They did not.
Everyone complained about how dark it was.
They did not try to experiment in that episode.
They did try to experiment. I will give them credit for attempting to do something different with the color grading and the lighting in the beginning of the battle, and then everyone complained about being too dark.
I guess.
So, you can't please
anybody.
Man, definitely can't please me. Not with this is middle of the road garbage. Yeah, the only movie that's come out in a while that matters is Mandy. To bring that back up, everyone just watched Mandy. If someone's like, "Hey, you want to go to the movies and see blah blah blah?" Just like, got a better idea.
Let's go watch Mandy.
Come over to my house. Got Shudder. We're gonna watch Mandy, or we'll just watch The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs instead of Game of Thrones. All right, Bloodsport's next. Great Outdoors is still a funny movie. It's cute if you film like summertime stuff. This is a good one to watch.
Yeah,
as soon as I realized it was like fall.
You're like, oh, disappointed. Watch The Great Outdoors, watch Lost Boys. Those are our two summertime movies so far.
Yeah, summertime sadness.
And watch WrestleMania 3 too, because that's the other thing we used to do during the summer.
WrestleMania 3 is good. We're gonna watch Bloodsport next. It's gonna be fucking great. It's one of the best, worst fighting movies of all time. Kind of inspiration for like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, though. So it's got that going for it. It's got JCVD. And we've got a website.
McVentureProductions.com.
And
I got a Twitter. It's at @SeanMcDonald. I don't know. You'll follow us on Twitch and Twitter.
It's all on the website.
I just finished Resident Evil 3. I'm going to start Resident Evil 4. Then Kyle maybe is going to play Resident Evil 5 with me. Otherwise, I'm going to play with the computer.
Yeah. Well, I got to quit my job.
You do it right now.
I'm going to call him. Guys, tired of this shit.
They're going to hear this and they're going to know.
I'm out here every day. People are trying to get me to watch bad movies and bad TV shows.
Like The Big Bang Theory.
To be culturally relevant for my podcast, I must force myself to watch this content. And I'm tired of it. I can't take it anymore. God damn it. Also, you guys commit wage theft all the time. That might be the real problem. And I can't convince anyone I work with to fucking unionize.
No, everybody is stupid.
They're like so terrified of the concept of it.
Oh, we might all get fired.
That's the whole thing is we're having...
You'll get fired, though, because you organize it. Yeah. Guarantee it.
But I'm cool getting fired, though. Like, I don't want to work there anyways. But the whole thing is, the reason I've thought of unionizing, like, in the last month or so, no one knows where I work, so I can give away these secrets. We're having a real trouble keeping employees, hiring employees, getting them to training, that sort of thing. So, we could unionize and go on strike right now because there's no way they could get people in there to do our job quickly enough, even without how they're paying or anything like that, without just meeting our demands. So, yeah, it's the perfect time. I've explained it to multiple people, and they're just like, yeah, but... And understandably, the entire economic system we work in society has been engineered so that, you know what, you really can't miss 2 days of work.
Right.
So I get that. But, man, what a bummer, huh? My grassroots initiative just couldn't work because those fucking assholes at the top won a long time ago. This is why all the pundits on the internet are just lazy commentators and not actively doing anything.
Because anybody that's serious about it can't afford to do anything.
Yeah. And then it doesn't affect them directly enough to care about it aside from theory. That's why I listen to Space Force instead of Chop a Trap House. I'm out here in the streets. Just living.
Look.
Doing my best.
I said this to you through text, but I read Animal Farm, and people that think it's about communism are wrong. And Chop a Trap House may not be corporate pigs, but I still know a pig when I see one.
Yeah, they're definitely bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And with that said, Space Force.
Space Force.
Giving you the hot takes that no one asked for.